Hello everyone, I'm the Art Sicko and I'm making real life ODM gear from Attack on Titan called 3D gear. But I won't be using a traditional grappling hook like how it's shown in the anime. Instead, my version of 3D gear won't be using that. And here's why. Reason number 1 is the size of a grappling hook. Reason number 2 is the weight of a grappling hook. And number 3 is what grappling hooks are made for. So, let's start with reason number 1. Okay, so reason number 1 is the size of a grappling hook. And that's important because I'm sure you've all seen other videos of people using grappling hooks. And most of the time, they're using really huge launchers to launch pretty big grappling hooks. Although, there are some people who have made smaller grappling hooks like Alan Pan.
In 3, 2, 1.
Alan Pan's grappling hook is pretty great because it does exactly what it's meant to do, and that is to grapple onto a wall and some buildings that are open, like how we showed in this video. But the thing is, that won't work for 3D gear, just like how the big grappling hooks won't work either. And that's because of how they're designed and what they're made for. So the big ones are made to launch pretty big grappling hooks far distances, but usually the gun is too big, so I don't want that, and that'll look really weird once I create my own. And if it's too small, like Alan Pan's, it doesn't have the power or the place for something to roll back the wire or the rope and hold the person all together. So I won't be doing that. And also, if it's too big, then like I said, it'll look weird. And if it's too small, who knows if it's actually gonna grab onto anything. And in a way, that kind of leads to my second point, which is the weight of a grappling hook. And like in Attack on Titan, they use small, lightweight grappling hooks that are probably as big as this egg, maybe even smaller than that. And the reason they're made that way is for a specific reason, and that is to kill the Titans. And so because of that, design, they're made perfectly for what they're used for in the anime. But if it were to work in real life, it wouldn't look the same, or it wouldn't be that lightweight or too heavy either. Because if the grappling hook is too heavy, then we'll need more power to launch it out and pull it back in, so it'll end up being just like those huge grapple launchers, and I want to avoid that, so I won't be using that or a small one. Instead, I'll be creating my own and finding a good balance between all of these 3 different points. Which that brings me to my next one, is what grappling hooks are used for, and yeah, basically what they're made for. That is basically probably what everybody already knows already. They use to grab things, pull things, most importantly, climb things. But sometimes they usually don't catch on to what they're trying to climb, but mostly they're used for grabbing onto tree branches, to walls, and open windows on buildings. But because of their design, grappling hooks aren't really too easy to detach from what they're hanging onto. So I don't want that either, and that wouldn't be too fun to create and to build. But unlike the anime, or like the anime, they can easily detach and attach to anything they want to, like it's magic. But in real life, that won't be easy, because you'd have to create a whole different system, and small enough and durable enough to take the impact of what the grappling hooks are used for. And like in the anime, they most of the time go into the wall to be used correctly, so the people using the 3D gear can fly around, right? But the thing is, in real life, that'd be pretty difficult because there'd have to be enough power to send the grapple hook through the wall. But then the next challenge would be to make a system so that way the claws on the hook can slip through the same hole that they came through. And because of that, I won't be making that, because you'd have to create, a little system, to make that happen, and that sounds really difficult. And to avoid that, I'm going to be making something else, kind of like a reverse grappling hook, where instead, like I was said before in the first video, they claw onto the wall, and for me, that'll be the best thing to make. Plus, even if they go through the wall, that just feels like unnecessary, because you're going to be flying through the air anyway, and you need to release quickly to come back so you can launch it over again. And that would be a problem if we use a traditional grappling hook, and that is why 3D Gear won't be using one, because it won't work out just as how you would think if it were the anime. So instead, I'm going to be making my own, but it'll be worth it, and in the future I'll release a video talking about that, 3D printing it and creating basically the first prototype for that grappling hook, and explaining why that's better than a traditional grappling hook. But until then, we'll see you later, and enjoy the next video.